it's me, Schlee. Welcome back for another MRE video. Today's video is, of course, an installment of the Schlee's 12 Days of Christmas series here on the channel. As you can see, I have my Christmas sweater going on, and this guy right here was a Christmas present from Amber. As with the most recent MCW review that I did, I want to say a huge thank you to Amber for gifting this to me, along with some other goodies that y'all will see soon. This is a halal ration. This one is vegetable barley stew with lamb. I've had one other halal ration on my channel. I'll link it above if you want to check that out. I loved it. It was delicious. It was jalfrezi with lamb, I believe is how you pronounce that. It is dinner time for me. I'm pretty hungry, so let's go ahead and open this up and see what happens. So here we go. This one's from Sapatco down in Mullins, South Carolina, not too far from me. All right, let's dig in. So on top we've got our main vegetable barley stew with lamb. Date code is looking like 2010. Yay, we have an oatmeal cookie. I'm hoping there's some peanut butter to go with that. We have beverage base powder grape. I think I've had this maybe one other time in my entire history of reviewing MREs, and I've done about 50 now, which is kind of impressive. I don't remember how this tastes, but I hope it's good. We have a pack of matches that was just randomly sitting in there. That's interesting. What is this? Oh my goodness. This is called Snack-a-doodle mix. I did not know they put Schlee food specifically in these rations, so I am over the moon about this. The name is Snack-a-doodle mix. So I'm very excited. I have no idea what this is. It's probably some kind of a trail mix. This may be one of those instances like combos where this is a huge worldwide known treat and I'm unaware of it because I live under a rock, but either way, I'm gonna discover it in this ration and I'm so excited. Okay, Snack-a-doodle, I'm gonna put you down for now. Here is our toilet paper. We have some cranberries. We also have a nut and raisin trail mix. Okay, so maybe these aren't as similar as I thought. I'm guessing they wouldn't give you two types of trail mix, so we'll check this out shortly. Here's our little accessories packet, including our beautiful brown MRE spoon and red pepper. I love that in these rations. Last but not least, we have our nutrition card for the main, if anybody wanted to check that out. And we've got our FRH. Looking good. I could not be happier with this spread. I cannot wait to get to the Snack-a-doodle mix, but I want to get the main heating up first. So let's get that done, and then we will do our taste test with the rest of the components. And now we wait. Let's unpack our accessories really quickly. There's the star of the show. Crushed red pepper, salt, a wet nap, black pepper, 2 packs of sugar, and a napkin. Okay, now it's time for the Snack-a-doodle mix. Snack-a-doodle, Snack-a-doodle. Just some very brief information for anybody who may be a first-time viewer and you're confused. Snack-a-doodle is perhaps one of the most Schlee-esque words I've ever heard, and this food is guaranteed to contain Schlee energy. So that's why I'm so excited to eat it. Schlee energy is rarely found in nature. It's very hard to get enough Schlee energy in your diet every day if you don't know a Schlee personally. So this is good for everyone who doesn't have regular Schlee contact. Okay, got the oxygen absorber out. Okay, so this is kind of like a couch mix. So in here we've got mini pretzels, we have little corn nuggets. These are probably sesame sticks, I think maybe cheddar flavored. And roasted peanuts, heavily salted it looks like. I think that's it. Oh wait, no, these are sesame sticks. So I guess these are little cheese doodle sticks maybe. And looks like potato sticks as well actually. That's a really nice mix. Nice mix of sticks. All right, so I want to try a bite of this all together, of course. Here's a close-up of all the components. Before I go for the mega bite, so to speak, on this, I'm going to try everything individually. First up is what I think is a little cheese doodle. It has an extremely light cheese flavor. It tastes like a regular Cheerio, not the honey nut flavor, just regular Cheerio covered with light cheese powder. That's how that tastes. Sesame stick is up next. It's your standard sesame stick. It's salty, a little bit of sesame soy flavor in there, crunchy. That's it. Potato stick. Also very good, not very salty, very strong potato flavor, quite similar in flavor to a Lay's potato chip, the original. Here's our peanut next. Oh, it's honey roasted. That was a honey roasted peanut. That explains why the coating was so thick on it. Very good. It was sweet, but not overly sweetened. I think those honey roasted peanuts are gonna balance out the saltiness in here really well. Let's try our little corn nugget. That has your typical dried corn, popcorn type of flavor. Very little salt on the corn itself. Last but not least, we have our tiny pretzels. They taste tiny. The pretzels are also good. Not a lot of salt on there, but I think that's a good thing because the rest of this mix is pretty heavily salted. Now let's go ahead and get a bite with everything in it. Individually, I think the potato sticks are my favorite. They're just so good. I love potatoes in any form. But putting this all together, I think is gonna be magical. Okay, I got one of everything now. Here we go. Eating that all together is absolutely the way to go. I was right, that honey roasted peanut flavor mixes so well with the salt that's on the other components, and the flavors meld really well together. You get the savory bits and the salty bits and then the sweet parts too. That is a great snack mix. It tastes very fresh as well, and there's a good distribution of everything. It's not too heavy on the pretzels or anything like that. Very nice mix. The Snack-a-doodle mix is one of, if not my favorite type of mix I've ever gotten in a ration, and I just love the name. It has so much Schlee energy to it. Now it's time for a mad scientist experiment. I know it's popular with these two types of ingredients to mix a little bit of the drink powder with the cranberries and make like a Sour Patch Kid type of treat, if you want to call it that. Supposedly this is a really good combination. I know that Steve1989 has done this before, and I've gotten comments from other people saying that it's a good combination as well, so we're gonna try it out for the first time today. There's a little bit of sunflower oil on the cranberries, so that should really help the beverage base powder stick super well. How did that happen? I'll clean that up in a minute. I'm not gonna try the cranberries on their own because I've had them several times and I like dried cranberries and I think they're good. And they taste basically like any other dried cranberry. Okay, let's shake this up. All right, let's pour these out. That's fun, they look all snowy and frosted now. So there's an up close shot. That powder stuck super well like I thought it would. Perfect. All right, let's see if it passes the taste test. Yeah, putting the drink powder on these, that's the way to go. So the cranberries themselves, I'm really smiling because I like that a lot. The cranberries themselves are very soft. In texture, it's very similar to a gummy bear or another type of chewy treat like a gummy worm. The grape powder on there, it tastes exactly like Fruit Stripes bubblegum, if y'all remember that. I'm kind of showing my age with that one, but if you know that grape flavor, that's exactly what this tastes like. There's really no sourness to this, it's all sweet, but it's different types of sweetness. The cranberries have their own natural sweetness, and then you have the beverage base powder on top of that. It's not overly sweet somehow, it just works really well together. Whoever thought of mixing these two, genius. This doesn't give a Sour Patch flavor so much as just kind of like a sugar-coated gummy worm or gummy bear or something like that. It's really good though. I definitely will try this again in the future. The grape and cranberry flavors mix really well too. I feel like a lemon lime beverage base would also go really well. All right, so far 2 for 2, loving those. Let's go ahead and make up our drink with the rest of our powder here. Okay, it's all mixed up, so let's give it a taste. Tastes exactly like grape Kool-Aid to me. Maybe a little bit tart actually, but that could also be because I just had the cranberries. I prefer this on the tart side, and it's good, it's refreshing, has that icy grape flavor that I think of when I think of Kool-Aid. This is also made with cold water. In general, I'm not a huge fan of grape, but that's a pretty good drink. Now let's see what this nut and raisin mix has going on for it and how different it is from our lovely Snack-a-doodle. So this is looking much more standard. We have walnuts, almonds, peanuts, pan-coated chocolate discs, also known as M&Ms, raisins, and I think that's it. Oh no, we've got These are filberts, also known as hazelnuts. And yeah, I think that is all that's in here. This does not appear to be salted whatsoever, which I think was smart considering that you've got this right here. So there's a look at everything. The M&Ms have seen better days, but everything else is looking okay. I've had this before, so I'm gonna just eat this handful really quick. This is good. It's a little bit bland in my opinion due to the lack of salt, but the components are all tasty and they mix really well together. It's a classic trail mix mixture, as you can guess. This is a very good snack. It's nutritious, it's hearty. I'm not trying to hate on this at all, but we have Snack-a-doodle also present and I'm gonna gravitate towards this one. I do wanna mix things up a little bit here and have some of the regular trail mix and some of the Snack-a-doodle also. So throw in a couple different things. All right, let's try that and see what we think about that. As you probably guessed, those two mixes mix quite well together. The honey roasted peanut and the M&M go super well together, those two sweet components. Those flavors really latch on to each other. And then you have the savory and the salty components in the back. It's a really good balance. You could totally mix those two together if you wanted to and just have a really big trail mix going on. I actually like the two different types of trail mix things in here. I kind of was skeptical about that at first, but no, I think that's actually a very good idea. Now let's open up our oat milk cookie. This should be pretty fresh. 3068 is the date code on here, so yes, from last year. This may be the freshest oat milk cookie I've ever had. And she looks stunning, look at that. Immediate delicious cinnamon smell, I love it. I'm not gonna try the cookie yet because our main is ready, I think, so we're gonna go ahead and put that on the tray and try that. Okay, here's our main, and yes, it is very extremely hot, so I'm not gonna handle it too much. Let's go ahead and get it out of the pouch. Lovely color from the tomato paste right off the bat. So as previously mentioned, this does have lamb in it, really nice big chunks of lamb actually. There's potatoes, carrots, barley of course, one of my favorites, green bell pepper, carrots, I think I said carrots already, but in case I didn't, here's some carrots. Of course, tomato paste in the sauce. I'm also smelling some garlic in here and some other spices, and it honestly smells delicious. I'm gonna go ahead and give this a try because I'm hungry and this just is really tempting. There's our main. Really big chunk of beef, or not beef, I'm sorry, lamb on the bottom there, and then the sauce and the vegetables on the top. These halal mains are on another level. They're so good. Like I said, I love barley, and the barley in these rations is always cooked perfectly. It is pretty soft, but it's not mushy, and it has a really good flavor. I'm a huge barley fan. Barley is underrated. The lamb is so tender, it just falls apart as soon as you bite it. It's cooked perfectly. This sauce actually has almost a creamy texture. It's very thick, it's very smooth. It has tomato flavor, but it's not a rich tomato flavor. It's much more subdued tomato flavor. And that's nice because it really gives the other components a chance to shine through. As good as this is by itself, I do want to use at least a little bit of crushed red pepper on here because I think that will really turn up the flavor. Okay, going in for a bite with the red pepper. The red pepper is good. It of course adds some spice, but I think this does need a little bit of salt, so I'm gonna add that in now. This is not bland, I could eat it as is, but I do feel like it's lacking a little bit of our sodium here, so let me just sprinkle that on. All right, now let's try it with the salt and the red pepper in there. That was the magic combination. That needed just a little bit of salt and then the red pepper, and that perfects the flavor, in my opinion. The salt really heightens the flavor of the vegetables and everything else and just brings them to life. The red pepper is kind of like injecting them with caffeine, so they're really energetic now, the flavors. I am very impressed with this main. I went into this knowing I would like it, but this is again like the last halal ration I had. This is becoming one of my favorites. It's so good. I just love the flavors and the way this is prepared. It reminds me a lot of the beef stew I make at home. I know this is lamb, but the way I make my beef stew, it has a similar texture and the beef is really, really tender and it has the vegetables in it. It's very similar, so it's very comforting, and again, it's like homemade. I just love it. The corn in here is actually quite sweet, but I think that really balances out well with the savoriness of the dish and the spiciness from the red pepper. Very well thought out. Now it is time for dessert. We have our lovely oat milk cookie right here. Up close shot. You guys see how perfect that is? Looks like I just picked it up out of a bakery store window. I know I mentioned that peanut butter would go well on this earlier, which is true, but you don't need anything for these cookies. They are delicious. It's flawless. I want to show you guys the inside. See the big pieces of oatmeal in there? That's what makes this so good. Like I said before, this cookie is super fresh. It's from 2023 and you can tell it has just a little bit of softness around the edges and it's crunchy, but it's not crumbly. It actually has quite a buttery texture that's very pleasant. It's absolutely packed with cinnamon flavor, but on top of that you have vanilla flavor. You also have the oatmeal flavor in there as well, and the way these are baked with the big pieces of oatmeal in there, they're so much like a homemade cookie. I can't exaggerate that enough. This might sound like a strange comment, but this cookie also has the perfect amount of salt in it. With something this sweet, you do need salt to balance it out, and they nailed it with this one. There's just like a hint, the smallest hint of salt in every bite, and it is just, it's so perfect. I really think this is a perfect dessert to go with this main because they both seem so homemade. Perfect pair. Okay guys, as much as I would love to sit here all day and eat MREs with you, this one is drawing to a close, but I will do a mega bite before we head out. So we're gonna do it like this. I'm gonna scoop up some of our stew, add the cookie, gonna add one of our cranberries. I'm gonna try to add as much of these two as I can. There's just so much going on here. I added one of everything from the Snack-a-doodle mix, and then I added an M&M from the trail mix. I felt like the other components were sort of repetitive, so I'm not gonna worry about that too much. Okay, there's our mega bite for this video. Looking, now I was gonna say appetizing, but I don't wanna lie to y'all. Time for today's dose of regret. Two things really stuck out in that mega bite. One, the sesame stick from the Snack-a-doodle mix was like really asserting its dominance. That was one of the main flavors I could taste was the sesame, which is strange because when I had the Snack-a-doodle mix by itself, it didn't really come through that much. But the sesame stick was alive and kicking in that mega bite, let me tell you what. The other thing was the sweet components, specifically the M&M and the honey roasted peanut. Those were also very prominent, so right behind the sesame stick. Everything else just kind of melded together. I didn't really taste the stew at all, which is unfortunate. It was a very bizarre combination of flavors and everything combined and tasted quite bitter, which is why you saw me shaking my head like that, because the bitterness came in at the end and it just, very unpleasant. I would not recommend combining all components of this ration if you can avoid it. If you have to eat it that way, just throw on some red pepper and you'll probably be okay. Okay guys, that is it for this halal ration. I hope you enjoyed watching. I certainly enjoyed making this video for you. I want to say thank you again to Amber for making this video possible. I'm going to go ahead and finish this off camera. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys!